To show you what I have assembled as my DIY December Daily kit for 2016. Every year I like to make my own kit based on supplies that I like that are out at the time, as well as the theme that I'm going for, and sometimes it matches my home decoration. And this year it doesn't really match the theme that I'm going for in my house, but I am going just traditional Christmas colors this year instead of, some of the other things that I've done in the past years. But I have decided to stick with a 6x8 album because that worked really well for me last year. And I loved being able to just have small sections to do, something for the day or something for the weekend, or kind of just the smaller chunks were a lot easier for me to handle throughout the month. So it's a crazy month. It's busy at work, it's busy at home, but it's a priority and I don't like working on it later in the year. So I try to make sure that I'm just getting as much done as I can and experiencing the memories and then crafting them as soon after as possible. So I am starting with a black and white striped 6x8 snap album from Simple Stories. I loved the really clean matte finish. I love that it's 6x8. It's a super small size. I'm hoping I don't grow out of it because last year's snap album that I got was like, I want to say it was like a half an inch or an inch bigger than this. So, and I filled it up. So I'm hoping that I don't run out of room. But if I do, I have no problem with just getting a second one. So that is what I'm going to start with, and it really is the perfect color for the theme and the color scheme that I'm going with this year. So let me show you all of my goodies. I am keeping my supplies in two different bins. So here's the first bin and here is the second bin. And we'll go over this one first. So here I have all of my cards that I've cut up. So I have purchased several different lines, and I will link them all in the description, but I'll talk about them as well. But I have decided to go with Illustrated Faith's Christ Mass. I guess the best way to say it would be Illustrated Faith Christmas, but the Christ is really the basis of that line. I've also picked up supplies from Ellie Studio 'Tis the Season, as well as Paper and Spool, and her kit is called North of December. And then a little bit from Carta Bella's, what did they call theirs? Christmas Delivery. A few different collections that have a really similar style, and we'll go through the cards here in just a sec. So what I have done is cut up all of my cards. So I purchased 12x12s and 3x4s, 4x6, card stock, but I have cut them all into 6x4s, and I have left no 6x6s. I've left no 12x12s because I just know that it's going to be so much easier for me to do my pockets if I already have the sizes. I don't have to fuss with cutting sizes down or storing 12x12 somewhere. I need everything to just be condensed and simple. So that is how I'm working it this year. And I've also decided to organize them by color. So the cards are going to be organized by color, and I've used some of the Avery self-adhesive tabs and just cut out white cardstock and wrote on the label, and that's going to be the color. So we have reds, and here are some of my reds. So this one's from Paper and Spool, and we've got some other just different. So I'm kind of like this one, it could be considered red or pink, but I'm kind of using the background as the base color. So these are from Ellie Studio, and also from, yeah, it looks like they're all from Ellie Studio, and that one's from Illustrated Faith. So lots of plain colors too, and then some really simple backgrounds. Some pinks, greens. So Ellie Studio here, some Illustrated Faith, Paper and Spool. I love that. So I like being able to just have the colors and the cards all ready to go. And then two of the cards from Paper and Spool came with this blue, and I thought it was really nice because the Illustrated Faith kit also has some blue in it. It's more of a teal, but I think that I can make them all work together. And then I put some into multi-pattern. So if it has, you know, like a multicolored and a pattern, then I kept it in here. So multicolor, it's, you know, kind of a plethora of different kinds of things, but I just chopped up all these 12 by 12s and 6 by 6s. And so just so that you know what I'm doing with the 12 by 12s, so like for instance, the LA Studio comes with 2 sheets of each, and they're both double-sided. So I just took one of each and cut them down. So I do still have a whole complete set, you know, basically half of the paper pack still sitting in 12 by 12. But I just can't see myself at this point using a 12 by 12 because I've got a 6 by 8 book, but I kept them like that in case I needed a 6 by 8, in case I wanted to do a large, you know, full size page. So I did leave myself that option. Same with the Illustrated Faith collection. I have basically 2 of each paper, and they're double-sided. So out of a 12 by 12, you know, you can get 4 by 6s and 4 3 by 4s. So that's plenty of cards to go around, and then keeping the 12 by 12s just in case I need to make a 6 by 8. And then I did a multicolor with stripes. So there's just kind of some that were stripy, and I thought that it's kind of different than having like the pattern with the floral or the pattern with the people, and you know, so I just kind of wanted to separate them in case I needed, because they're for different uses. You know, I might use these for title cards, whereas those might be for, you know, focus cards or something like that. And then I've got a white, so we've got kind of like a grid and some stripes and just some real neutrals and this super cute font. I love that. And then grays, so Paper and Spool, more Paper and Spool, some LA Studio again. And I love how they're not the same color gray, but that's all right because they're probably not going to be used on the same page. So I'm totally okay with that. And then black. So we've got some chalkboard and just some different patterns here. And then brown. So the LA Studio did come with a wood grain, which is very cool because I have a lot of wood grain in my decoration. So that'll be really nice. And then the 3 by 4 cards I did the same way. So same exact colors, except I just have one section for multi because I ran out of labels. I ran out of the tabs. So reds, there's so much from the stuff I picked up. I'm really excited. So some Fa La La La, lots of patterns, just so many options, so many choices for, you know, putting a Polaroid photo, you know, right here and just embellishing it a little bit. The Paper and Spool collection, oh my gosh, so cute. Her handwriting and like this vintagey kind of feel, I'm super loving that. So all these are from Paper and Spool. And pink, so I really love that all the pinks tend to be like this kind of muted pink and that nothing's like really bright. And it all just seems to work together. I mean, these are 3 completely separate kits. And look how wonderful they work together. And that's what I love so much about picking my own kits, is that I get to choose and I get to, you know, make that choice. Then we have green. So the greens are, you know, very different too. So one's kind of a deeper, one's kind of a, you know, not really lime, but like more of a traditional green. And then there's some that are a little darker. But I think, again, they're not always going to be used on the same page. So, you know, I'll make selections based on the colors, you know, that go. But those are super fun. And then here is the blue section. And I'm just not super worried about these not going together because look how cute they are all together. So even the Illustrated Faith one here has this lighter color blue that really works well with the paper and spool blue. So I'm really excited to be able to have some variety. Only a couple yellows, a little background from one of the from the 6x8 paper pad from the Illustrated Faith and Bella Boulevard collection. So that's really nice. And then multi. So I'm also sticking in here some of the, you know, kind of like filler cards that I wouldn't be able to journal on, or that I wouldn't need to embellish. And because they have a lot of colors, I'm just going to throw them in here into the multicolored section, because when I'm looking for something that just kind of pulls all the colors in, this is where I'm going to look. And then this was just, I had a duplicate of this card, so I just flipped it over and it's this cool stripey. So I'm happy with that. And then the whites, in LE Studio, they have a lot of these cards that have just a white background with an element on it. So I figured I'd throw them all in here because, you know, when I'm working on pages and I need a light color background, I'm going to look, you know, for whites. So I'm happy to have kind of all of these different ones to choose from. Same thing with gray. Anything that has mainly gray or a gray background, any of that is going to be in this section. Super cute stuff. Black, same thing. I love the polka dots, super versatile. And then again, just a couple of the wood grain pieces. So those are my 3x4 cards. And then I have decided not to separate my embellishments by color. I'm going to separate them by type of embellishment. So let me also grab this. So these are going to be kind of constantly on my desk, and there's some things that I haven't cut up yet. But basically I've got labels, then I've got clips, and then these are all like tags, tabs, and banners. So kind of like flags and banners. So things that like, you know, like this with the little banner kind of shape. And then these are going to be things that have words. So when I'm doing a special project like this where the colors are all the same, I don't really feel the need to organize all of my embellishments by color, because the color scheme is the color scheme. So what I'll be looking for when I'm putting a page together is, oh, I want something that says something about Christmas, or I want something that says joy. So I'm going to know that I can go into this section and find a word. And so that's what I really feel is a little bit different than how I normally scrapbook, because I'm working on one project that has the same theme. So then I can just go one step further and organize them just by basically type of embellishment. And then here I've got some larger words. I've got a stamp, which I will bring out some of my other Christmas stamps too. And then these are some things I haven't cut up yet, but I will show you what I'm going to do with them. So like the LE Studio, there's this cutout, so I'm going to get these cut out and then put them in the appropriate places. Same with these. So there's some words and some labels. So the labels that are open, you know, they'll go in there, and then the things with the words, they'll go in here. And then these are shapes. So these are like die cuts. So trees, ornaments, things that don't necessarily have words, but like, you know, baby Jesus, holly, those kinds of things. So on the bottom of all of the 12x12 LE Studio pieces, or 12x12 papers, there's a strip at the bottom on the other side of the, what do you call that? I know there's a name for it, and I've heard people say it. But there's some designs. So I'm going to hang on to these. I've just folded them in half because I'm not going to need anything bigger than 6 inches. So I'm okay with the fact that they're bent a little bit, just so that they don't get in the way. And then these are the 2x6 pieces left over from my 6x6 paper set from LE Studio, and I'm probably going to hang on to these like this for now, but I will probably punch them into tab divider shapes using my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. So that way I have them just ready to go, and I don't have to worry about that as I'm chugging along in my albums. And then the Illustrated Faith collection came with the sticker set. So I've chopped this off and I'm going to cut these into 6 strips, 6-inch strips. And then I'm also going to cut these out. So I'm just going to cut around individually. I might, you know, cut these 4 out and keep them as a whole and just put them in with the words. But I definitely want the letters to be kind of separate so that I can keep them in a separate spot. I just need things to be smaller, and I don't need to have, you know, extra things that take up a lot of space when I'm creating. And then the 6x8 paper pad from Illustrated Faith has double-sided and 2 of each pattern also. So I left the 6x8s, the other set of 6x8, so I pulled out half of them. And then I have duplicates here. So that way, again, if I wanted to use a full 6x8 sheet, I still have some options. And in here, I have just some of my, you know, basic additional supplies. So I also have the 2x7-inch tip-ins. So these are from Illustrated Faith and with the Christmas collection by Bella Boulevard, and they're so cute. So they're just a little different, and I like these. These could, you know, go up against the side. They can, obviously they're meant to be used for in your Bible, but I really like, you know, I could maybe cut a 2x2 out of here and just use these things for embellishments as well as maybe places to journal. So I'm really excited to be able to use those. Also, I grabbed some enamel dots and enamel hearts from Illustrated Faith because the colors are just working. I mean, look at the greens on there. The limey ones, they may not go very well, but the darker greens really go very well. And then the blue also kind of goes with some of the blues that we've seen, and obviously blacks and whites. And then I pulled out some paper clips because I really love to use clips, so I grabbed whites and the black and white stripe as well as a couple of greens and some cute clips from Illustrated Faith and Bella Boulevard, some that match the colors, and then some of these that I have made myself are these fabric clips. So I just grabbed a few that go with the color scheme. And then washi, of course. So I just pulled out some that have the same colors that we're working with. And then I also picked up this, and I'll show you this collection here in just a sec. I didn't cut any of it apart yet because I just got it in the mail today. But it's like the kind of buffalo checkered pattern. Really, the black and red is super cute and very neutral, but super Christmassy. And then the last thing is I did pick up a couple of pieces from the Carta Bella collection. Did I say that it was called? Yeah, Christmas Delivery. Because I really love the vintage vibe of this. So there's some chipboard pieces, and of course online you can't tell that it's cream, and I'm trying not to be weirded out about the cream versus white because they do have some white things on here. So, you know, I'm not going to get too freaked out because these are super cute. They're not exactly the theme of everything else. Like everything else is kind of illustrated and a little bit on the cute side versus this is really on the vintage side, but I think that a lot of things could be used together. Like this could be used, and I really love the buffalo, but see, I might end up using this for like decoration or something in my house, so I just couldn't pass up getting at least a couple of little pieces because I really like all of the vintagey things. So that, my friends, is everything I have for my December daily collection this year, and I really enjoy making my own kit. Again, just trying to find things that go together, but from different collections so that I don't get bored, because that's what happens a lot is I get bored if I have to use the same stuff over and over. And if I, you know, definitely a tip I'd like to pass on is get your stuff as soon as you can and get your items prepped, because December is going to be here so soon and it's very difficult. And because I've done this project for several years, I know that being ill prepared for me makes it really difficult to get started. So it just helps prepare your mind. It prepares you don't even have to worry about it later. But I hope that whatever supplies you guys have picked up, you are so happy with them and that you're raring to go come December. And I am so excited to see everybody's projects. So I will also link some more information if you've never heard of December Daily. It's a December project that is founded by the wonderful and fabulous Allie Edwards. So I'll link to her as well so you can see some of the basics about the project. And then honestly, it's any way you want to do it. I've done it a few different styles. So I'll also link to my other December Daily albums so that you can see some other formats. But I will talk to you guys really soon, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye guys.